Hello all, coming back to you with another historic deck. This time we are looking at Historic Flying. And this is a deck that I made back in the day for Standard, and then I kind of fell out of Magic Arena. I only ever flirted with Magic Arena a little bit. I didn't really take it all that seriously, but started to get very much into Arena now and decided to use this in Historic, and actually it did quite well. So I've put in some Loyal Pegasus for Historic, but pretty much it's the same as the Standard deck was, I think. Healer's Hawk, I mean, it's just a bunch of 1 mana flyers here. Fairy Miscreant we can use for card draw if we get into other Fairy Miscreants. Spectral Sailor for flash, and the draw on that can actually be relevant, surprisingly, for 4 mana. Then we've got a couple of Rally of the Wings, which can protect our stuff against burn and stuff like that, but it's mainly in here to either hose our opponent's attackers. We can untap all of our stuff and block a load of it and kill their stuff off, or we can get them on the swing back. It's pretty much for an alpha swing, that card, but it is versatile. There's quite a few things we can do with it. Lofty Denial is pretty much a 2 mana counterspell. We're going to have flyers in play because it's a flying deck and it's not likely that they'll be able to pay the force, so Lofty Denial, a playset in this deck. And then Skycat Sovereign. That will get a huge buff depending on the number of flyers that we have in play. Don't tend to use the 4 mana thing on that, but we can use that at the end of our opponent's turn if we've got some surplus mana for some reason. Then Watcher of Spheres. Not sure if I should have a playset of that in here. Maybe get rid of the Baneslayer Angel. How many lands do we have? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. Yeah, so maybe get rid of Baneslayer Angel and have another one of these. I'll see how it fares. But this makes our stuff cheaper so that we can play Empyrean Eagle for 2 mana, Hanged Executioner for 2 mana, and Baneslayer Angel for 4. Baneslayer Angel is often a bomb that our opponents can't remove for whatever reason, so this can actually be really relevant and keep us in games, keeps our opponents from swinging in and blocking because they don't want to give us the life. And then we've got the Empyrean Eagle we just saw, +1/+1 on all of our creatures because they're all flyers. And Hanged Executioner is a means of removal in the deck, so if anything does sneak past our Lofty Denial, we can get rid of it with Hanged Executioner. So yeah, pretty much all there is to it. As usual in my decks, I've only just started taking Magic Arena seriously, so I'm still collecting the rare lands here. We've got a tap land in Enlightened Temple, or Temple of Enlightenment. Fabled Passage will often get tap lands out in the early game, but we want to try and avoid those if we can with things like Mistgate Pathway and Hengegate Pathway and Hallowed Fountain, but I don't have playsets of those. I would do, or I would include those if we actually had playsets, but I don't yet, so if you've got the rare lands, you shove them in there in replacement of the basics and the tap lands. Let's see how we fare with the mana base as it is, though, and get some games going. Alright, and here is where we might be punished for having a Fabled Passage in the early game. But we don't have a lot of 1 mana drops anyway, so we'll get rid of that, and that is looking much better. Keep there, get rid of Rally of the Wings. And throw down our Healer's Hawk. And it's an elf deck by the looks of it. I play a mono green elf deck myself. It can just be an island and a Healer's Hawk. Don't know if I'm going to be able to outpace an elf deck with this one. All depends on if we manage to draw into Anthems. There's an Elvish War Master. Okay, Lofty Denial might help us. I think I'll give it another turn with Lofty Denial, and we'll hope that they don't play an Elvish Archdruid next turn. They shouldn't have too many reaches in this deck. There's only a couple in mine. A 1/2 that helps tap for mana. There's Llanowar Elves, so Elvish Archdruid is down. Gwynen's Elite. Yeah, that's fine. And we even get into Skycat Sovereign, so we can play that this turn. We might be able to get our opponent here. Might as well go for Lofty Denial here because we can't counter it anyway thanks to Allosaurus Shepherd, and we're not going to remove Allosaurus Shepherd. They get into Elvish Archdruid and an Elvish Clangcaller. Thanks to the lifelink from Healer's Hawk, I don't think they're going to be able to get us quite here. So we'll just block that one. Knocking us down to 13, but we get them back on the swing here. Yeah, so managing to beat out mono green elves. We were only a turn or so away from losing there, I dare say, but managed to get the win nonetheless because we outraced them. On to the next one. Yeah, I quite like that hand. I think we start off with the Loyal Pegasus to start hammering away at our opponent, and then we can go Healer's Hawk and Fairy Miscreant after that. And that is Life's Bounty coming into play. We get our 4th land, and it is a white one, so we're not going to worry about colours in this game. Bishop of Wings, so this might be some variants of a mono white angel deck. In fact, it almost certainly is because it's Bishop of Wings. My angel deck is green-white, but I have been thinking of making a mono-white version. You'll have to let me know if you want to see that. And we can't block, so they hit us for 1. We'll go Healer's Hawk and Fairy Miscreant here, ready for another Fairy Miscreant next turn. And can't attack in with the Loyal Pegasus because it can't attack or block alone. And there is another Fairy Miscreant, what did I tell you? So we'll draw a card there. Not getting into a Lord, unfortunately. So we'll hold up the Spectral Sailor and keep our fingers crossed that we can actually get into some Anthems. And there's Angel of Vitality. Might as well throw that down. So they gain a bunch of life, get the buff on Angel of Vitality and the Youthful Valkyrie. And now we get Lofty Denial, a bit too late for that. Hold up Lofty Denial and the Spectral Sailor draw. A Soul Warden is not good news for us, but there could be worse things come down. Youthful Valkyrie isn't great either, but it's the new rare angel from Kaldheim that I'm thinking of. Jumping up to 35 life. And then hitting us for 3 damage. Draw a card with the Sailor. And another Lofty Denial for us. Another land as well. Let's go for the Executioner. Hopefully we'll be able to exile the Bishop of Wings at some point, although I think it's too little too late for that. Pretty bad matchup for us in all fairness. Speaker of the Heavens is just going to make a bunch of angels, so we can probably afford to counter there. And they're tapping mana for one reason or another. And that is Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. Probably has to be no blocks again for us. And there's what I was hoping for, Empyrean Eagle. So, I think we have to go Healer's Hawk. That can't be blocked and killed off. Loyal Pegasus for some damage. And then we want to keep Spectral Sailor, so we're not going to block with it, so we'll swing in there as well. Yeah, we'll just go in with a bunch of stuff there and hold up the Lofty Denial. They can chump with their Youthful Valkyrie. Knocking them down to 34, so they can't go for the Ajani if they've got that. They do have Collected Company though. We're going to certainly deny them of that. So now we're both in top deck mode. We do have a means of exiling a creature. Let's see if they want to swing in at us here. They do. So I think I might actually double block the Angel of Vitality. Yeah, let's do that. We go down to 8. They gain some life, they get a spirit, and we just get a land. So I might as well draw here. And it's another land. I think we're doing pretty well considering the draws. Let's swing in. Yeah, we're best not swinging in thanks to that spirit. Pull another land out of the deck with the fetch land in Fabled Passage. And they just pass through their combat. Get a blue source because we've got a white in hand. Okay, Sky Sovereign. It only took 12 turns, but we're getting into stuff here. That comes down as an 8/8, gains our opponent a life. And we'll draw a card at the end of our opponent's turn and hold up the Lofty Denial that we've absolutely got in our hand. Might make a cat instead, but I think it's better for us to draw a card. Yeah, there's Collected Company. Maybe could have gone Spectral Sailor into Lofty Denial if we played that land. That might have been a better idea, but was hoping they weren't going to top deck into anything good. You do whiff sometimes on Collected Company, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. And our opponent scoops, how strange. I really wish we could draw the cards at the end of the game here. I've said it before in another video, but I wish it flipped all these upside down for us so that we could look to see what we were drawing into. Because I'd be really curious to see how we might have fared there. But yeah, I think our opponent pretty much had us there. They just weren't getting through right now. But obviously I don't know what's in their deck. Maybe they don't have all the rare and mythic angels in this one. Well, we'll try again, see if we can get a more convincing win than that one. Once again, we seem to be very good at this, just drawing into hands that don't have many 1-drops in them. But if we go for that on turn 2, then these are 2 mana apiece. Does rely on our opponent not removing it though, but we've got these on turn 3 and 4 either way. So we'll get down the tap land. We really want to be littering the board with 1-drops in this deck though. They do have Lurrus in the companion zone, by the way. Let's go for Watcher of the Spheres. And then it is Core Spirit Dancer. So we want the Hanged Executioner online as soon as we can. Yeah, they might... I don't know if they can get hexproof on that or not, but we'll go for the Executioner anyway. Maybe that will dissuade them from throwing down a cartload of auras onto the Core Spirit Dancer. We've also got more flyers in play this way for the Empyrean Eagle next turn. That is a rune. Draw a card when it enters, lifelink to the creature, and then Sentinel's Eyes. That one is Vigilance and +1/+1, so that is now a 5/7. We'll just take the hit here. And that is Plains, Empyrean Eagle. Are we likely to be able to alpha swing them? Let's go Hanged Executioner. Swing in with everything. Knock them down to 11. They're going to gain a bunch of life back this turn. All that glitters. Knocks it up to a 10/12. We are able to chump block at the moment. But there is an unblockable aura apparently, and this is where my lack of knowledge of the format might hurt us. So can't be blocked, +1. Only knocks us down to 1, thankfully. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12 and 13. And then +2 on all of that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that is 25 exactly, I think. So let's go for that. Just double check. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 and 25, yeah. Got them exactly. That was a very close one, but turns out that it was a good thing that we didn't block, or couldn't block, with the Core Spirit Dancer. Could have gotten rid of that anyway by exiling it. On to the next one. Well, we've got 1-drops there. Unfortunately, we've also got a tap land. So it's probably Plains Healer's Hawk, Temple Healer's Hawk on turn 2. We'll keep. Oh, and it's that deck, the one that has all the enchantment removal, so we're not likely to do very well in this one, I don't think. Empyrean Eagle will help though. But that does assume that they can't just get rid of it immediately. SRAM Senior Edificer, so maybe a 1 or 2 of in this deck so that you can go for auras onto this and draw cards. I think we might have to just hold up the Lofty Denial, unfortunately. Swing him. Although, do we care about losing the Healer's Hawk? Yeah, let's encourage removal out of their hand with a Skycat Sovereign. You never know, they might not have it. Don't think I'm going to use a Lofty Denial to save a Healer's Hawk. Demonic Vigor onto SRAM. That is +1/+1 when it dies. Return that card to its owner's hand, so it might just be a SRAM deck. And Heliod's Punishment. We have to tap that down in order to get the counters off it eventually. Has to be Fairy Miscreant here, I think. Try and get into an island so that we can go Fairy Miscreant and draw a card. Swing in for 1. And we're not having the best of luck drawing lands, unfortunately, so it's a bad matchup made even worse. A Cartouche goes on to SRAM. And the cartouche is when it enters the battlefield, create a warrior. It's +1/+1 and first strike there. Then +1/+1 and vigilance with the sentinel's eyes. Shocking themselves with a godless shrine. And that's Angelic Gift. Enters, draw a card, and now this has flying. That's a 5/5, we'll take the hit. Okay, I was going to say, unfortunately, we can't rely on Hanged Executioner in this game. Try and draw into a land. Yeah, we were never going to win this one. Let's make sure to have Skycat Sovereign do its exercises, and we'll pass. And the 5/5 comes in towards us again, and once again we will allow it. And finally getting into a land. Do your exercises, Skycat Sovereign, and Empyrean Eagles. Next turn we'll have this back, but it won't be able to swing. We'll have 2 for 6 damage with Empyrean Eagle. I think it's just better to go Hanged Executioner, to be honest, because we need the SRAM out of the way in either instance. They decide to grab themselves the Lurus of the Dream Den, so they can start going for Dead Weight and other enchantments like that. They have to get rid of the Hanged Executioner because they don't want to lose SRAM. And then its Thoughtseize probably gets rid of... I don't know. I really don't know what they get rid of there, to be honest. They decide on Rally of Wings. Then enchanting their Lurus with a cartouche. That one is first strike, I think. Yeah, +1/+1 and first strike. Swinging in again. Let's just take the 5 this time as well. Alright, and finally getting into the lands, although it's too late really. So now we go Empyrean Eagle, and this is more like the board state that we were wanting to have all along. We'll have to start chumping the SRAM at this point, might even gang up on it. Shocking themselves with a Godless Shrine. And that is dead weight onto the Healer's Hawk. Hateful Eidolon making a surprisingly late appearance. And then there's dead weight onto the Fairy Miscreant. And they've gone for another enchantment here in Angelic Gift, flying, and draw a card when it enters, then all that glitters. I mean, we just jump here, don't we? There's nothing else we can do. Just go Empyrean Eagle here, swing in with the Sky Sovereign. We'll see a little bit more of our opponent's deck and then just take the damage next turn. And Heliod's Punishment back onto the Empyrean Eagle. We'll take it. Good game to our opponent. We'll get on with another game. Okay, this hand is alright. If we get into a blue source, we'll start things off with the Healer's Hawk, because we can actually swing in with that. Just a tap land in Temple of Abandon, scrying to the bottom for our opponent. And we draw into a blue source, or a blue creature even, that we can't do anything with. Then another Temple, scrying to the bottom, continuing to hunt. I think they had to mulligan down quite a ways there, because they've only got 3 cards in hand at the moment. Go for the Pegasus, hold up the Spectral Sailor and swing in. And another Scryland. And once again, going to the bottom, they've managed to ditch 3 cards at the moment. Get this down. And there is another Sovereign for us. Might be able to get them next turn. Assuming our board stays the same. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8... 10, 12, 14, 16, although there is a Reacher. Yeah, so we'll just swing in and see what happens here. Okay, blocking the Loyal Pegasus. We'll save that with the Rally of Wings. Or actually not save it, we'll still lose it, but we'll deal more damage to our opponent and get rid of their Stone Coil Serpent. Might as well throw this down as well and hope that we don't see a board wipe. Any board wipe they have will be red based. I don't think they'll have one here. Yeah, and our opponent blows up. They had to mulligan down quite a ways there, so I don't think that was a particularly fair one. We'll see if we can get a more convincing win. Yeah, we've got a couple of Fairy Miscreants right off the bat, so we can try and get into the 4th land. Or a Skycat Sovereign would be just as good. Throw down the island and the Miscreant. And it's Mind Stone. So we'll go for the... Yeah, I don't think we necessarily need the card draw here. Let's try and get as much damage onto our opponent as we can with the Skycat. Fingers crossed we don't see a board wipe already. Torment of Scarabs. At the player's upkeep, they lose 3 life. Unless we sacrifice an all-land permanent or discard a card, we will lose 3. And it didn't manage to get into a land yet, so let's try and get into one here. Okay, Lofty Denial, that's no good. So we'll just swing in like that. And that can be a blue source for us. Does feel bad to not have the lands to actually play the deck. If you want to go platinum and above, you really do need the rare lands that come in untapped. We were set back a turn or so there. Can't hold up Lofty Denial, can't go for Rally of Wings if we want to. And that's the difference it makes. We could have countered that. Lose 3 life, Lofty Denial again. Yeah, let's just try Hanged Executioner and Rally of Wings. Temple of Silence, scries to the bottom. 3 cards left in hand. And there's Rankle. Can't get through with Rankle, thankfully. Although I don't particularly care about discarding a card here, so I might just let it through. And they decide to draw, which gets us into a land. We'll take 3. And right now we're getting into lands. Just an island here is fine. Yeah, they've only got 1 mana available to them. I think we just try the Rally of Wings. I mean, we've got counter magic back up, so I don't really see what they can do here, to be honest. Yep, straight through for lethal. So we probably would have got them there even if they hadn't swung in with the Rankle. Let's try 1 more and we'll see how we fare. More Watcher of the Spheres. Yeah, I like the Rally of the Wings. We can get the Fabled Passage in untapped if we get into another land, so we'll keep there. And it looks like we're maybe against Elf Tribal. Fairy Miscreant on turn 1. And Imperious Perfect so that they can start making tokens next turn. We get into that 4th land we wanted. So let's go for Watcher of the Spheres. And swing in our opponent. And Elvish Warmaster, they might be able to get down another token here. Well, they can with the Imperious Perfect, 2 cards in hand. We'll go for the Skycat Sovereign. And then Collected Company. Here's hoping that they don't get both Elvish Archdruid and Fierce Empath. Well, they do get a Fierce Empath. Hopefully they won't be able to afford the Crater Hoof. They won't be able to next turn. But they might not even need it here. Creating another token with the Imperious Perfect. And deciding not to swing in. We'll make a blue source with the Fabled Passage. And then it can be Skycat Sovereign. And we're just 1 shy of getting them here, unfortunately. So maybe it's worth getting as many blockers in play as possible. They might be able to go wide on us next turn. But let's just go Watcher of Spheres. And there's another Elvish Warmaster. So getting a bunch of tokens. Don't think they've got us here. Making another token with Imperious Perfect and then swinging in. We'll block the most damage. And then we've got 10, 12 and 14 hitting us. So we just go for buffing our Watcher of the Spheres. And yeah, I think maybe even without the Rally of Wings, we might have had them there anyway. Let's have a look at the board. We play the Spectral Sailor. These jump up to 6/6s. They jump up to 4/4s. So yeah, pretty sure we had them there even without Rally of the Wings. So managing to outrace one of the best decks in the format in mono green elves, which feels pretty good. Had they have gotten the Collected Company to go for Fierce Empath and Elvish Archdruid, they could have got their Kraytooth and had the mana to cast it, but luckily for us they didn't. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, the deck can tangle with the more competitive decks in the format, at least some of them anyway. If you sort out that mana base and keep your fingers crossed, then you might be able to get a win over those competitive decks once in a blue moon like we did with the elves there. But it's not the most competitive deck in the format, as we saw in the video. It does fall short of some of the more competitive decks, some of the stronger decks. So just bear that in mind if you want to build the deck yourself. The link is in the description below to the list if you want to make it yourself. It is a fun deck, but it's not the most competitive list in the format, so just be wary of that before you build it. If you don't mind your win-loss ratio and getting to Mythic and things like that, then it is a fun one to play with. If you did enjoy the video, then please be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe. That will keep you up to date with all the latest content. Let me know which decks you'd like me to play on the channel as well, and I'll see what I can do about that for you all. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm tribalkai, and I'll see you in the next one.